Hello, Ariana here from Scale and Simplify. This video is going to walk you through how to design your membership area and put all of your content in there and what options you have for layout and all of those things. So I'm going to be jumping into one of my existing courses here, and this tutorial is assuming you've already gone through and created the general structure of your membership, and you've started creating it and done some of the basic settings here. And now we're going to jump into the membership contents here and go into the builder. So I'm working off of this one so that you can kind of see what it can look like at the end. And then I'll sort of reverse engineer and show you how each of these pieces came to be and what other options you have for content to put here. Okay, so first, let me hide this. This is the layout of the builder. Now, as far as the layout on the front end, you do have some other options. So let me just go through your builder will always look like this, but the way that you display this to your user can have variance to it. So let's just start at the top and then work through. So up here, you have options for where to put the sidebar. This is the sidebar. So we've got three sort of areas here. We have the menu with your list of modules and lessons. We have a sidebar and then the middle content section. So right now I have it selected as sidebar right. You can do sidebar left, or you can create two sidebars and have it like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep it to sidebar right. Up here, you can select the color of your header. And so this is this part here where your logo goes and some of these key menu items for like logging out, profile, and all of that. And then accent color, whatever you select here is what's going to be used in backgrounds like this. You can see that like my menu is that color. And for the most part, that's it. So as far as customizing branding, those are the only options that you have at this time. Now you can preview, so let me just do a preview and show you the three options for layout, again, on the front end that you have. So there's a little preview here. This one will look a little bit like the builder that I'm in right now, where the top bar is light color, and then your accent color is the menu items and all of that. You can do a second option that has a bit of a larger colored section at the top with your menu, or you can do a menu on the side. So I'm going to hit save and preview, and it's going to show me what this looks like. Let me just zoom out. My screen is zoomed in. Okay, there we go. So we've got the menu, the main content area, and our sidebar. Let me save and preview this one. Okay, so this is the menus at the top now, and so on, and then this one. Okay, so this you can actually, it makes no changes to your content, and you can switch between these every day if you like. I don't recommend it, obviously, but there's no sort of repercussions or nothing crazy is going to happen if you come in and switch the layout. It's just how you want it displayed. Okay, so I'm going to close this. Actually, one note here. What I recommend is that if you just have a few lessons, or rather a few modules, you can do this middle one. So that they're nicely listed across the top, and like that space is filled out and you have all the rest of the space for content. If you have more than, I would say, like 4 modules, I would use this layout because as you can see, then they're listed across down the left-hand side, and they're not sort of going to the next line like mine is here. So because I've got 6 here, the next one gets bumped to the second line and it just looks a little bit cluttered in my opinion, and so I like to do the sidebar, or the side menu rather, as the solution there. All right, so we've got our branding, we've picked our layout. Of course, you can pick your layout at the end. Now I'm going to jump into creating these modules and lessons. So here, if you hover, you can see there's the edit button across the menu, and this is where you create sort of like the names of the modules and where you're going to house the lessons. Now, I'm using the terminology module and lesson because that's how it makes sense to me and likely how it makes sense to you. In Kartra, these are called categories. So a category is like a module, and a post is like a lesson. So categories and posts rather than modules and lessons, but I'm gonna use both terms. Okay, so the welcome, this is not changeable, as in you cannot get rid of it. The welcome is the first page that people land on, and you cannot add a lesson to it underneath it. It's just one page. I believe it's called home by default when you first start a brand new membership. You can hit edit and change it to like start here, welcome, or something like that. Okay, and then we're going to click to add a category. And you can hit edit to change the name. And I'm going to say module 1 example. Okay, and save. So now I've got my module 1 example here. And then, you know, you can go through and do that for all of yours. Now, you can come in here and also add a subcategory, which is a, I'm going to call this a lesson section. I don't normally do this, but I'll show you. So when you come in here into the lesson that I've created, along the left-hand side, new post, this is what I would be calling a lesson. And so you drag it out and drop it here. And now we've added a lesson 1. It's showing us the category that it's under, as well as the subcategory, which I'm calling a lesson section for demonstration purposes. Okay, so now you have lesson section, lesson 1. I'm going to clone this to, okay, so now in this scenario, we have, I'm going to do this to demonstrate further. Hang on. So this is like if you want 3 layers to it. So you've got your module, you have like a section of lessons, and then the actual lessons within it. And in the menu, it's showing your subcategories or sections. And then when they click on that, they see lesson 1 and 2 under the first section or subcategory. And if they click on 2, I haven't added any yet, so this one is still empty. But like the lesson 1 and lesson 2 in this scenario aren't appearing in the menu. It's the higher level sections. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so now I'll do another example of a second way that you can do it. And this is the more common that I use. It all depends on the structure of your course and how much content you have in there. It's nice to use these sections if you have a whole lot of lessons and things in there. So now I'm going to just do the module name, save it, and that's all I'll do in there. Then I'm going to click on module 2, and now I'm going to add a post or a lesson in here. So I'm going to drag it out. Okay. And now you'll notice that, let me do another one. You'll notice that here it only has the category. There's no subcategory listed because I've not included a subcategory in this module. Okay, save. So now in this one, the actual lessons or the posts are in the menu. Whereas here we've got sections and then the lesson is like tucked away. Okay, so now let me go into edit this lesson just to point out a few more things here. So you'll see here, this is not a mandatory field, but you can add a description of the lesson. You know, sometimes people will put like, if you have like a subtitle to your lesson name, or if your name of the lesson is longer than 40 characters, because that's the maximum for the name up here, then, you know, we'll split it up and have sort of like the main theme and topic here, and then a little bit more information in the description because it appears in the menu and people can see that title at a glance. Here, if you would like, you can add an icon, you can leave it blank, but I'm going to add one just to demonstrate what that looks like. So now here under module 2 example, we have, you can see there's an icon in this one. And then here you see first lesson description to show you where that would appear. And I'll show you examples of mine so you can see what that might look like. Okay. And so that's the main, how to sort of put the structure together. Now I'm going to go through just some examples of how to get content in the sidebar and the middle. This you can kind of play around with, and I just want to show you what the options are. Up on the left-hand side, you have the sidebar contents, and so these are the 5 options you have of types of content to put in the sidebar. This that I have here is the host, so let me drag that out and show you. Why isn't it? Okay, I already have it in there. I think that's why it's not letting me do it. But you would drag that out, and then you have some options for layout of getting your headshot in there, and you know, your title, links, and all of that. Okay, and you can design that how you like. Now you can include a progress bar. I have a progress bar here. It just shows the person how many of the lessons they've opened up. You can add a featured post, and so this is nice if you want to. I have one here so you can see this example here, the surprise bonus. So I'm just highlighting one of the posts or lessons that I have here. It's this one. So this just allows you to select one of your lessons and highlight it in the sidebar. So if there's something of particular importance that you want people to have quick access to here, you can do that. You can add in a product. So if you have another product that would be a good supplement to the course in here, I'm just going to do this example. Hit save. So you're just selecting a product that's already set up in your Kartra account. And then when people click here, they are going to be taken to the sales page for that. So you can use it as a little ad space. Or you can do a banner. So this one I use a lot. This is literally just an image that you are able to put a URL to. And that's it. So what I like to use that for is, you know, creating a little graphic in Canva. And then if you have a Facebook group, for example, that's associated with your course, having a link that goes to the Facebook group or some sort of external resource, or your website or another ad to maybe book a consultation call or something like that. Just anything that you can put a link to that you want to highlight for people there. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to go through some of the post contents here. All of these, you're just selecting it and dragging it out, and then you're following the prompts to get the content in there. I I'm going to open up one of mine to show you an example. So like here, this is actually, we've got the text box, we've got a video, so you can just drag out the video, select your video that you've uploaded or upload a new one. And then there's some of these highlights boxes that are nice to add, just so that you don't only have like the plain text and video, especially if you want to highlight information, or like here I've got a checklist that's kind of a summary of things to do from that lesson. And so there's different ways to do that. There's highlights box, whoops. And let me just do this as an example to show you what it looks like. So you can put in whatever content you would like there. So you're giving it a title, and you have a little text editor here where you can put whatever content you would like. There is also this resources and links. This is really useful too. And then I'm just going to select a random page here. But you can have various different links. It can go to another post if you want to link to a separate membership post. I'm just linking random ones. But this is what it looks like, and then you have the hyperlinks there. So there's various different purposes for that, and it's a nice way to kind of display information in a different format. And then download button. The difference between button and download button is that, for example, here, this is a button. I'll go into the settings where you're just selecting what you want the link to be. What I've done here is this is a spreadsheet that I was sharing, and so it opens up the spreadsheet as a URL. Whereas a download button, what happens is it downloads the file. So the difference being that you would upload the file, they would click it, and it would be a direct download, as opposed to doing a button to a link, which then like opens up in a new browser tab. I prefer the link, just, I don't know, from a personal preference or user experience standpoint, but the download button will just download it directly, and they don't have a link to like refer to or open up in a separate tab. Okay, and then there's all of these other things that you can play around with. If you have a calendar to book a call with you, you can embed it in there. That's really cool. You can add checkout forms directly in here to upsell into something else. If you want some sort of opt-in form for additional resources, you can do that too. The divider is another one that for sure you'll use, and it's just one of these lines that kind of creates some visual breaks throughout the membership. And then you can kind of put it all together like this with some different styling and all of that. Okay, and so that is it for the design of your membership area. I hope that was helpful.